Hello everyone, I'm going to be showing you what to do with this color mixing overview little packet that you have. Mine's in two pieces, but it's a front and a back of a worksheet and then a front of another. And you can see I already started some of these. So what you need for this are just regular old color pencils. So I'm just using kind of cheap Prang colored pencils. So that means anything you have is going to be great. Now for this, we only need the primary colors at the beginning. So we only need red, we only need blue, and choose more of a regular blue rather than a light blue. And then we need yellow. And go ahead and set all your pencils aside. So this worksheet is all about learning about the basics of primary color. So I'm just going to quickly run through things and clarify some things that I think you might have questions on. But remember, you could always ask more questions. Send me a message on Canvas or email me if you're confused. So on part 1, it says primary colors are the base colors that can be used to create all other colors. Our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. Hence why we grabbed red, yellow, and blue. So you'll just take your time to fill in each of these circles with your primary colors. And I'm just going to speed up this part. Okay, so when I was recording me doing this assignment, I noticed I lost when I was coloring and explaining this section. So here's the explanation, even though it's already done. So all you need to do is take each of your primary colors and color each circle with that primary color. So we're only using red, blue, and yellow colored pencils for this. So you can see when we overlap the blue and red, we get purple. Overlap yellow and red, we get orange. And then blue and yellow, we get green. So that's only done with those primary colors. Now in the center, we get what's called a neutral. So some sort of brownish type color results when you mix all three colors. So that's the explanation for this side. Now this is stuff I expect that you have already learned up to this point in elementary school, but now we're going to up the ante a little bit with the other side. So this is mixing tertiary colors. I already have some of these done just to show you kind of where we're going for. So circles equal the primary colors, triangles equal the secondary colors. So this time you can use your primary colors only if you really want that challenge. If not, you are allowed to grab your 3 secondary colors, but then that is it. You are not allowed to use any of these colored pencils in your set. The only other ones that we don't have already that you will use are black and white. So 6 pencils, with the exception of black and white for later, are all you can use for the rest of this assignment. So now, just a reminder about layering. So here we say primary color, it's red, secondary color is orange. So I'm grabbing red and orange. And I am going to start by lightly going over that whole circle in red. And remember, I don't want to press hard right off the bat because then the orange will not like to layer over the red. But outside the overlap, I can press hard there. So I'm dodging that overlap, pressing hard in these places. Now I take my orange. And I can press down hard because I've already got the red down, and I'm layering that on. And I think I'm even going to add in a little bit more red on this overlap. And there you go. So red plus orange equals red-orange. So that's what that color is inside there. Now, alright, so if you continue on for the rest of this side of the worksheet, doing the same thing, mixing a primary and a secondary, you'll notice there are some colors that don't mix very well. That's what this part is down here. It's talking about creating neutrals or brown colors. So there are sets of colors that are called complementary colors on the color wheel. They're colors that are really far away from each other, so when they come together, they create the browns. So blue and orange are complement. That's going to give you kind of a grayish brown, red and green, yellow and purple, and so on. So once that's done, you're moving on to the last page of this assignment. That is with the color wheel. So now we're introducing the order of these colors and how they fit together. So this is all labeled for you. Just a side note that This one is labeled as violet. Violet and purple are basically the same thing. People would argue that they're different, but for our purposes, we're going to call them the same. And this calls out, do you notice where the complementary colors are? So on this other worksheet, we know, okay, blue and orange are complements. Well, let's see where they are. Here's blue, here's orange, and then red and green, violet and yellow. So you can see complementary colors are across from each other on that color wheel. That is why they mix a brown, because you think when you mix them, you're meeting in the middle. And from the very beginning of this assignment, you can see what happens when colors meet in the middle, just like that. So for this, you're just going to go ahead and color in order. Now, you're still only allowed to use your 6 pencils, your primaries and your secondaries to make this. So that means every tertiary color, you should be layering and practicing that color mixing. Now we're on the last section of this worksheet. For this, you can use your primary and secondary colors plus white and black. Now, we're not using a gray because you're going to practice mixing black and white to get gray. So what we're talking here is called tints, tones, and shades. So a tint is a color plus white, tone, color plus gray, shade, color plus black. Now this is important. Make sure you start by lightly coloring the base color. So we're just using red, yellow, and blue for this. I could have had you do all 6, but just to save on time, red, yellow, and blue. And you're going to color in these blocks there first, lightly. So we have our colors based out. So again, they're very light. Later we will darken them and go over them. For this next step, you just need black and white. So I am going to be filling in this gap. Now the white isn't going to work super well just because usually with cheaper color pencils, their white is just not super high quality. But you can see it is changing the colors just a little bit, and that's all we really need. So I'm overlapping that, being really dark about it, because this is the last layer we'll need of the colors with white. Okay, the next thing is gray. So it's really important that you start with white first. Do not press super duper hard with the white, but press firmly enough that you know everything's getting covered. And then go over that lightly with black, and then we get our gray. So you can see the tones, color plus gray, that are being created when our gray is overlapping our colors here. Okay, and while you have that black pencil in hand, now you can work on this last row. Still not pushing super hard, but a little bit harder than before, and filling in this area. So like I said, we're not done with those colors. We're going to go back to those next. So I've got the black down. Now I'm going back to our colors. So I'm going to overlap the black with another red, the gray with a little bit more red, not a ton, and then just the spot that says red, I'm going to darken it to where it should be on our colors. So you can see the comparison. Red plus white equals a pink color. Red plus gray, we've got a tone of red. And then red plus black usually results in a deep red, or some people would call it kind of a maroonish type color or burgundy color. So now we're done with the basics of color mixing. You learned what happens when you mix white, black, and gray with colors. You get different versions of those colors, so tints, tones, and shades. You know the order of the color wheel now. You also know how to mix all tertiary colors as well as neutrals, so the browns and grays. And you also know how to get those secondary colors and what our primary colors are. So that is it for this assignment. So good luck.